Hi guys, this is Mr. Tan. And today we are going to look at the product life cycle, the different stages of the product life cycle. We're going to, try and put some examples in here in terms of Coca-Cola and Apple. And then once again, we would like you to download the Zapper app for augmented reality. So what is the product life cycle? The product life cycle emphasizes the stages where the product goes through, from the point of design to the point that you decide to divest or get rid of or remove the product or the group of products from your company. Not all products go through the whole of the life cycle, so some may fall way short, some may stay longer in the maturity stage, so it's not always, it doesn't always normally follow the standard path of the product life cycle. So now we're going to look at the different stages of the product life cycle. So if we look at the introduction stage, well, the introduction stage is when you're introducing the product to the marketplace. But let's just stop there for a second and take a step backwards. Before you get to the introduction stage, you've got your research and design, your customer research, and within the research and design, product innovation and design, talking to your customers, carrying out research to find out what customers want, pricing policies and so on and so forth. This before the introduction stage, is very time consuming. You may have to take a lot of time to get feedback from your customers. You may have to get samples made from your manufacturers to see what it could look like, and then that whole process can take time as well. And that whole process is obviously costly, and it doesn't involve any sales at that stage before you even get to the introduction stage. And then you get to the introduction stage, you launch the product onto the market, and to begin with, as you can expect, you're going to have low sales, so there's going to be a high cost, and there's going to be little revenue generated to cover the costs of your gross profit and your net profit. If we think about the growth stage, again, the growth stage, now you start to see increasing sales. The cost per customer falls because you're increasing your sales, you're getting economies of scale, you're obtaining product expertise in terms of knowing your production processes and how to carry them out. So your sales are increasing, so obviously your cost of goods are going to be decreasing because you're going to get economies of scale, so your gross profit is going to increase, and then that gross profit is going to be offset against your costs, which will lead into your net profit. So again, at this stage, you're going to have an increasing number of customers, but at the growth stage, you're going to get more competitors entering into the marketplace at this time, because they're going to see that if you can make a profit, then they can make a profit as well. And then we enter the mature stage of the product life cycle. Here we have saturation of the marketplace. The cost per customer is at its lowest in the mature stage. Your profits are high because you've maximized your sales. In addition to that, you have economies of sales, and so your cost of goods are lower, so your gross profit is higher. As well as that, your production processes and your overall costs are now being covered, so your net profit is going to be increasing. And you have a stable number of competitors here, and you're targeting the mass market, and with high profits. And then we have the decline stage, and in the decline stage, you in essence have falling sales. The cost per customer is low, the profits tend to fall, and the customer base contracts, and the number of competitors fall as well. And now you get to the stage where customers' preferences, customers' needs are changing, hence the reason for the decline. Or you may have other competitors, cheaper products, better quality, and so on and so forth. So here you go into the decline stage. So even though we might reach the maturity stage, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to go straight into the decline stage, because you can get product extension. You can extend the maturity stage and stop the product from going into decline. So if we look at the example of Coca-Cola, Coca-Cola, is in the mature stage of the marketplace, and from um, and then what do they do from there? Well, they launched Diet Coke, they launched Coke Zero, they launched other brands with other flavors, including Cherry Coke and so on and so forth, as well as having line extension at different sizes of Coca-Cola for different types of needs in the marketplace. Thus trying to extend the mature stage of the product life cycle. In addition to that, other reasons why Coca-Cola have extended their product life cycle from the mature stage is because they've spent in the last 6 years over $4 billion on global advertising. They undertake and conduct aggressive sales promotions with discounts. Other areas and reasons why they can extend the product life cycle would be to expand and go into new geographical markets, and also the new packaging and design, which creates more interest and desire with the product. All of these factors can help and assist you extending the product extension within the mature stage of the product life cycle. As another example, if we look at Apple, we can see that Apple was launched in 2007, and now we're going to kind of apply this to the product life cycle. So in 2007, that was the introduction stage to the marketplace, and then from 2007 in 2008 going all the way to 2015, you've had a steady growth. So these represent the sales per year, and you've had a steady growth right from 2008 to 2015, and then from 2015 to 2018 you've had a slight decline, but now you're entering into the mature stage of the product life cycle for the Apple iPhones. And the question really is now, where does Apple go from here in terms of their iPhones? Because they are getting more competition, from Huawei, from Samsung, who are developing their features and so on and so forth. So, it'd be interesting to see what Apple does in order to extend their product life cycle in the mature stage. So when we look at the product life cycle, we can see that the product life cycle, as we said, has 4 stages. But bear in mind, you kind of got the research and development before that, which are additional costs, whereby the product may not even come to market. But once the product's launched, then you go into the introduction stage, where you have slow growth. Then you have the growth stage, the maturity stage, and then standard product life cycle, the decline stage. But that can be extended in the product extension stage. So the advantages of the product life cycle, it does helps to forecast sales trends over the lifetime of the product. If you've got good statistical information, then and you've got information on the competitors and Pepsi and what they're doing and what they're spending and what their sales are like and so on and so forth, then you can actually try and plot it out roughly in terms of what's happening into the product life cycle, and it allows the business to adapt their strategies dependent upon which stage they're at. And in terms of viewing the whole product portfolio to assess their next investment, and where the next investment is going to be best spent. So, and the other advantage is that it's a very simple tool for businesses to use. So, but more data on businesses, makes it more predictable, which is what you want. In terms of the cons, not all products will follow the typical product life cycle. You may have some products going straight up and then to decline, or you may have some products in a long mature stage which is extended in itself. And it's hard to predict how long a product will last in each stage. So only a prediction of each product stage. So in theory, it's not an exact science. So it should be used not in itself, but it should be used in conjunction with other models, other data, to give you a strategic view in terms of what's happening, especially other models such as the BCG matrix and so on and so forth. So I hope that has helped today from Mr. Tan. Again, if you haven't already, please download the Zapper app. You go to your mobile, you type in download Zapper app, you can see install that on your phone, and then once you've installed it, you can open it and then scan this barcode here, and this will lead you to other links that we would like you to watch that will support the product lifecycle. So thank you today from Mr. Tan.